see Emily answer this question.
Can you give me an example of a time when you failed? How did you recover?
Let me think about that. So this one time I was working in a group and we had to put on a PowerPoint. And we read the directions of the assignment and everyone sort of thought they understood what was going on. But I guess we didn't read the directions well enough, because when we went and we saw everyone else's presentations, they went before us in the week. Theirs were very data heavy and ours were very qualitative. We did a bunch of analysis in terms of like how people feel and things. And we realized that we just did not read the directions. And I think that's because it was midterms. And, you know, midterms is such a crazy time at Carnegie Mellon. It's a lot. We're highly scheduled. We have all these tests. So you can't really blame us. It was a lot of work and we just sort of didn't think it through. So I asked my professor for an extension and he wouldn't give it to us. So I think a lot of this failure also sort of had to do with the professor just they weren't being fair. So luckily we just got our time moved to the end of the week. He at least gave us that. And my group member got together, pulled like a few all-nighters just trying to get this together because our preparation wasn't that good. But in the end, it worked out and we got an okay grade, and I would consider it a win.
Although Emily did a great job of using details to explain this answer, there were some things that I would have changed. For instance, she places a lot of blame on the professor rather than saying or admitting that they could have had a better timeline. She also doesn't take accountability or ownership for her actions and then says it was a success versus talking about what she could do in the future to improve. Let's see Emily answer this question again.
Can you give me an example of a time when you failed and how did you recover?
Let me think of that. Yes, so for instance, this happened recently. A group and I were assigned to do a presentation about one of the wars that are going on in Iraq in history. We got to pick a war or a battle. And we sort of decided to go with one direction, and we did a lot of research and analysis, and we were focusing on some of the qualitative parts of our report. We want to talk about personal stories, sort of the feel of everything. And when we went to class to see everyone's presentations, it was set up where like for a week we would have 2 presentations every day. So we were towards the middle of the week and we went and saw everyone's first presentations, and it was just a shock at how different everyone else's was compared to ours. So we went back and revisited the directions, and we just realized we totally misread everything. We sort of did not pay attention to the detail and went on our own track without really thinking it through. So the way I sort of tried to fix everything was I asked the professor if we could be moved to the end of the week and have a little bit more time. Because the thing is, we had the research there, our presentation was completely wrong, just totally off. So luckily he switched some things around and we were the last group to present. And we got together 3 times that week and then did our own individual research, and we just completely did everything, and it was a huge success. But definitely that initial feeling of seeing everyone else doing something different than you kind of gives you that pit in the stomach feeling, but I was glad that we could sort of scramble to fix it and that we had that backup information to help us.
Emily sets the stage here by talking about her project and how she and her group members made choices that didn't work out as planned. She then talks about the mistakes that they made, but focuses most on the creative problem solving that they used. She mentions how she even asked the professor for help at the end. Now let's take a look at Emily answering, "Tell me about a time when you worked with a group and one person did not complete his or her assignment."